Every business is meant to make profit. So, organizational efficiency is one thing that has not been given so much attention because some persons don't know the extent to which an organization is supposed to be efficient. Then, secondly, what are the tools, the apparatus used to measure the efficiency of an organization? One of the key actors when it comes to the efficiency of an organization is the human resource managers. And of course, today we'll be looking at organizational efficiency as we take into consideration the human resource factor. How is it playing out? You go to some organizations, you find it very difficult to even spot the efficiency of the human resource, and the growth of every organization depends on how efficient the human factor is, and that is where we are going to be looking at today. But then the approach is going to be holistic. We'll be looking at so many aspects of organizational efficiency, taking into consideration the human resource management factor. Joining me on the conversation is a man who has actually made a lot of mark. Some of you may know him right away. He is a human resource expert. He is Mr. Ikena Okafor. Oga HR is what he's popularly known. It's good to have you today, Oga HR.
Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
The name Oga HR, and you being a human resource expert, you know, some persons don't even know the place of the HR in an organization.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, how does the HR contribute to the efficiency of an organization, as a matter of fact?
Okay, we can't talk about that issue without talking about how HR came about first. We won't go back to history, but let's just talk about the Industrial Revolution. That was where the need to manage people came about. And as time went on, we were more concerned about just paying people salary. People were more concerned about just getting their salary. As time went on, people were concerned about fat salaries. As we proceed to today, people are no longer even concerned about fat salaries. We're talking about mental health, work-life balance, all of those. So you see that HR have a seat at the heart of the business. And the heart of the business means that HR is not a co. No, HR is part and parcel of the business, from the business objective, from the input to the output. HR is involved, and that is why most businesses now regard HR as a strategic business partner, strategic business owners, because HR controls both the resource, material resource, through processes and procedures. HR controls the human resource through process and procedures. In fact, if you also look at in the Nigerian context, HR gained so much relevance just immediately after the COVID. During the COVID and after the COVID, a lot of business shut down, and business owners were looking for a way out of the problem. They had to consult HRs. So HRs were more or less people who preferred solution. Okay, let's don't give pay cuts. Let's do this. Let's do that. And that was one part of what brought HR into relevance in today. So if you look at most jobs today, looking for HR, look at even the salary structure. Before now, HR were paid maybe 50, 60,000. Those solutions don't still pay as it should be, but the point remains that there is this recognition nationally when it comes to HR. Even in the government, we have HR there. HR departments are there and it's now being taken seriously, unlike before. If you come to the appointment position, we have the chief of staff. What does it do? It's not managing people. So HR is in core of any organization, whether private sector or government sector.
All right. As a matter of fact, you said the place of the HR cannot be ignored right now. But then some persons look at, if you talk about HR, the first thing that comes to mind is, all right, recruitment. Okay, recruitment. And as it is, let's look at it. Let's give it a holistic approach right now, because one, there are organizations that are functioning very well today. They don't have a HR department, because some people feel the job of the HR is just to help me get talents, talents that can fit into the organization, that can move the organization forward. And some persons can just be called upon. Okay, this person is an expert in this area. This person has experience. This person can actually get me the talents that I want, not minding whether or not the person is a HR expert or not. So as it is right now, how important, you just felt the importance of the place of a HR. But then, what about organizations? Okay, organizations that do very well, all right, whether or not they have a HR department.
I really feel sorry for such organization because you see, I've seen situation where I've worked with a director who told me that what's HR? HR is just hire and fire. I've worked such a person. I've also seen organization that reverend the HR profession and see the importance of HR. Okay, so if an organization really wants to optimize its efficiency, if an organization really wants to optimize efficiency, then it should look at how it can bring in professionals on board. It should look at how it can bring in HRs that will understand what the business entails. All right, because if you look at what we are facing today in so many organizations, we have so many litigations in the National Industrial Court of Nigeria. Part of the situation is because we bring people who don't understand HR, people who don't understand what HR is all about. So just bring in somebody who they believe has worked, I don't want to call any particular designation, someone who they believe have worked in a particular place, or or a friend sometimes, to become the HR. We've seen situation whereby directors bring in their friends to help them do interview who are not even HR, just because they want to make up a panel of 3 or 4. So those are wrong practices, and those are part of the problem why you cannot harness the benefits of the manpower you have. That's why you cannot achieve that organizational efficiency, because organizational efficiency keeps your door open, it increases your revenue, it increases your PR, it helps you even solve social issues, because your organization is doing well. We'll talk about you contributing to reducing unemployment rate in Nigeria. So organizational efficiency is not just since we're talking from an aspect of HR. What HR does, the singular action of HR, goes into so many aspects of the society. So if HR employs one person, the right person, for instance, it will reduce workload for others. It will put food on the table of that person. It will help the organization make profits. The organization can do its CSR. It will reduce social problems. It will take people out of the streets, because the organization might not need to expand. We will have less, since what most scholars have said, that insecurity is actually attributed to social problems. So we might likely have less insecurity challenges. So you see that just a good HR knowing his or her job have solved even a micro problem we're having in society.
But we have some HR who just do these things, who believe the job of a HR is hire and fire, like you said. So people like that, how do they emerge, and how can you know that this HR knows his or her job?
In Nigeria, we have a central body that, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention, but I know we have a central body that regulates HR practices.
Okay, you can't mention.
Okay. So we have a central body that regulates HR practices. I think the body needs to still do more in terms of regulation and ensuring that people who are not professionals don't become HR. There are other careers that we know that without getting their license, you cannot practice. But part of the problem we are having as HR is that a lot of people who don't have license, who don't have any training whatsoever, They just came out from school. They've not attended any HR training. Boom, they are into the job and they are HR. Okay, but that cannot happen in certain profession. It can't happen. You have to be licensed. You have to be given a certification that you are clear to practice. And even if that is not the case, you must have attended 1 or 2 trainings to begin to grow as a trainee in the field. So I think that is also part of the problems we are facing in HR, and it's being addressed currently. There's been a move the body is also making to address that.
You talked about the fact that HR department is now, they look at them as strategic partners.
Yes.
For organizations. What do you mean when you say strategic partners? Does it mean they share the profit with the owner of the organization or something?
You see, part of sustaining talent now, I've even gone to that. Yes, in some cases, some organizations begin to engage in what we call profit sharing with employees, but not particularly HR. Okay, but the point is that HR prefer those solutions. But what I mean by being strategic partners is that you begin to look at your employee as people who co-own the business, and that will bring about mutual respect. That will bring about you seeking their ideas. That will bring about you putting them also in front. When you are bringing about change, when you want to bring about change, you consider them. You see, see, as a business owner, you don't know everything. And that is why you need various people to man those departments for you. And it is the HR that is saddled with this to get the right talent. A good HR saddled with this one to get the right talent. So being a strategic business partner, the HR will understand the internal and external dynamics in making your business successful and put this into play. For instance, talk about talent management. How do you ensure that you don't have a large attrition rate? How do you ensure that you don't have people coming in and going out at every second? It's a problem because once applicants notice that there's some job you call some video that this company, I don't want to work there because people don't last. But HRs...
Okay, that reminds me. When you talk about people going out, going and coming in, you're talking about people not lasting in an organization.
Yeah, it's called attrition or turnover rate.
Okay, what does that have any impact? Because there is this belief that soldier go, soldier come. Of course, yeah, and HRs are the ones who do that more. So just throw more light on that. So what impact will that have?
I think we should cut us some slack. It's not just HR. I keep saying it that HRs don't HR don't even, it's a very controversial statement I always make, but HR does not hire. It's not in HR place to hire. HR cannot hire somebody whom the HOD don't want. So in the real sense, it's the HOD that hires. HR only facilitates the process. Okay? If I want to work in an organization, I know that the person who just left this organization, who just left this position, stayed 3 months, the other person stayed 2 months, the other person stayed 3 months, I will leave. I won't even continue that process. Because it isn't that there's a problem. Maybe the environment is toxic, maybe there's a leadership problem, maybe they have problem with their finances paying salary, maybe they don't have respect for employees, and so many maybes. So it's a big problem. If you see the big brands, they try as much as possible to reduce attrition rates to the barest minimum. Most industry standard is 5%. But is that 5% really enough? Some organizations have even argued that it should be less than 5%. And a lot of organizations are working towards that. Where I work, part of what I do, I look at that in this when I come in, then the first one I look at, or if I'm consulting an organization, I look at what is this, what's the percentage. If it's more than that 5%, that is my first target. Because otherwise, as you are doing your consulting, whatever you are doing, people are leaving. You are training people are leaving. You are training people are leaving. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. So attrition or turnover rate is very important. That is where also HR come in. But HR cannot do that alone. If management does not support, forget it. So why HR is HR? Management needs to also recognize the place of HR. Management needs to give that. We see that fear when it comes to what we call in Nigeria one-man business. That fear is there. They don't give authority or power, or they give you authority and hold on to power, or give power and hold authority. So you don't give you the boat. You don't give you the boat. So you just have a name, HR manager, group HR, global HR, but you can't take a key decision that will help the business. I've seen a situation whereby a HR following process, a employee that had up to 7 queries, warning letters in his file, terminated within seconds. That person was restated back by the business owner. And this person continued until this person sent a lady to the hospital before that person was finally arrested and sent out of the company. So, but the HR is sending this signal, but because the business owner was not willing, it's related to the business owner. So the business owner felt like, oh, if you send my brother out of my company, where will you go? But at the end of the day, police sent the business owner, the guy out of the company, and the business is still running. So you see, so HR is not just HR on his or her own, but with the support of the management.
All right, with the support of the management, that's the only way the HR can actually be relevant and do his job. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation. How efficient can an organization be? Looking at the human resource factor. We'll return to continue the conversation after this break. The efficiency of any organization depends on the capacity of the human resources that we have in every organization. Then who has the capacity to bring in these human resources? And of course, how is the relationship in the organization? I have an expert in the studio, Oga HR, Mr. Ikena Okavo, human resource expert, talking to us about organizational efficiency, taking into consideration the human resource factor. And we've been able to establish the fact that the role of the HR is not just hire and fire, like some persons think. And I want to ask you one question before we go ahead. I'm actually going to ask you if there are roles that external factors can actually play in the efficiency of an organization. But then, one very important thing is this: the rights, okay, of employees, all right, in every organization. Like you talked about hiring and firing, and when you made one salient point why you talk about the fact that if you're going into any organization and you see people leave in 1 month, you say, you know, I know of somebody, of an employer, okay, in Nigeria, that even if you go online now, you see vacancies. His vacancies never disappear from the internet. I've been somewhere where the whole people, everybody in the organization were sat, and they started employing new set of people, okay. And we were asking questions. What's the problem? How comes everyone is not here? All right. So what signal, how does that affect, one, the job of the HR who is in charge of hiring? Because we're talking about an expert here. Whose fault is it for that to happen? And what is the implication, okay, as far as efficiency is concerned for an organization such as that?
Okay, first of all, it's really tiring because it means your efforts you would have used in something else, efforts you would have used maybe in performance management, efforts you would have used maybe in organizational development, you're using it only for recruitment. It's a tiring process. And of course, recruitment does not just end when people come into your company. You have to onboard them. You have to, integrate them into your culture. So you keep doing this every 2 months. It's tiring. What is the implication? Is that such company, those who are available, they will also be weighed down psychologically because they are not sure of their job. For instance, if they are being fired, they are not sure of their job. There's no job security. So what they'll only do is that they'll be using the person's Wi-Fi or internet to look for other jobs. So you have people who are, in fact, the kind of calibers of people you will get are people who are just desperate for jobs. So they just stay there 1 month, 2 months while they search for other jobs. Okay. Now, those people who are there, will they even give in their best? They are likely not to give in their best. They are likely not to be innovative, because they believe that if it's a management problem, it might be HR problem, it might be management, but you see, it's a HR problem if the management allows it, because culture is anything management allows. Okay, so if HR is being high-handed, if HR is not aligning, the top management is there, the board is there, the MDC and other people are there to ensure that HR aligns. Okay, that is why there should be a policy procedure handbook that is guiding everybody's conduct, corporate governance handbook that is guiding everybody's conduct. But we don't see that in most organizations. Most organizations don't have corporate governance. So MD can do anything he wants to do, HR can do anything he wants to do, MD, CEO can dip into the pocket and take company's money, HR can approve call allowance for himself, and so those might even be the reason why they can't pay salary. And that might be the reason why people are leaving. It might just be because the MD or the CEO is tells HR to employ or his friends and cronies into strategic positions who are not efficient. Okay, so there are factors to it. It's not just an HR issue, but it's a holistic point from the management point of view. All right, and it might also be that they are not showing the employees that they have future for them in the organization. Because if you are showing your employee that, oh yeah, there's a future, this way you are going to be, there's a growth plan. Every 2 years or every 3 years you will grow if you meet this certain condition, or your salary is growing even if you're not going position, for instance. I mean, people want to stay where they will be recognized, where they will be appreciated, where they will grow. That's the theory that we believe in.
All right, but let's look at external factors now. We've been talking about, because we're looking at the efficiency of an organization, organizational efficiency. What role do external factors have? Let's say the government, the society, let's say maybe stakeholders, let's say the timbers and caliber, the game players. What role do you think they have to play in the efficiency of an organization, if they have at all?
I will focus more on the government, because the government plays a very big role when it comes to organizational efficiency. Okay, but before I even talk about the government, which of course what I'm trying to say is still the government somewhere or the other, you look at the outside Nigerian syndrome, which is the Japa syndrome. The Japa syndrome is also, so if there are better job opportunities elsewhere, people will actually leave the country. And we are facing that problem now in certain profession. We are facing in medical field especially, we are facing that problem. People are leaving, people are japping. So it's a problem for organizations, it's a problem for HR, it's a problem for everybody, even the government. Now, the government itself, I don't think governments have done enough. Let's start from the basis, which is, I said this in an interview just last week, the basis, which is our educational system. What is our curriculum? We still have an educational system that is telling us that Mungo Park discovered River Niger. How is it relevant to today's work? How is it relevant to today's now of work? How is it relevant to tomorrow's future of work? Those are not relevant things. We need to rejig our educational curriculum. We need to have a curriculum that is telling that goes beyond theories to even behavioral stuffs, like how to negotiate, communication. Today they still teach French. I did French in my 200 level for 1 semester, and that was all. Well, it would have been a good thing if I had done it maybe throughout my 4 years, but now I can't remember anything in French. So what is really the need of that, all that we waste our time on? We should have curriculum that is based on skill, that is based on competence. If you go to countries like Germany, that I'm sure of, for instance, Germany don't emphasize first, second, and third like we do here. They don't emphasize English. It's when the child they observe that this child is more on technical stuff, and you didn't do well in English or maths, they move you to the place. There's a special class where you did well, so they move you to that class, and you pin to. That's why I say they come up with technology and so many other things. So let us have a system that is domesticated to fit in our environment. Can an average computer graduate today actually handle computer? No. So the point is, our curriculum needs to be rejigged. Now, government policies are not really helping matters. So, if an employer is paying so many taxes, I bet you that employer want to take it out, want to find a way. He thinks or she thinks she can get her money back. And where's the fastest way? You say, okay, let me cut the money from my employee's salary. The employer bears the brunt. So we're having double taxation in several. We just had it. I listened to the session of and all those things he listed are so many. Yes, there might be some places that we are saying we have tax relief in practice, maybe in principle, but go to the field. Does it really happen? It doesn't really happen. So those are also places government need to create policies around. Then look at creating enabling environment. An organization cannot be efficient when we don't have an enabling environment. Okay, in a place where we had almost all the security agencies securing us, and I know how much we paid on that for that monthly. So if we are paying maybe 5-10 million naira a month just for our security, how much are we really making? Because if you don't do that, if you don't pay that money, you will pay more, because those people will now always come and pick somebody and you pay them, and pick somebody, you pay them. Those people, So we need to also, government needs to also ensure that we have security, which is the number one. But we are not seeing that. We're not seeing that, having that. You can't travel by road from here to, let's say, Kaduna, Kano, comfortably. Okay, you might need to get an escort. You can't also ship something from Lagos to Abuja comfortably. The money might be equivalent to what you need to ship from Abuja to London. So we don't have, all those things are part of the problem that affects organizational efficiency. So business owners need to look for how to cut corners. Okay, and overall it affects the manpower. Either they make people work more than they should work, they cut salaries, they pay lesser salaries, and so many other things that they may think about.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's look at other aspects now, because you're an employability coach. I know you for that. You've trained a lot of people in the past. I think I have heard people's testimonies, of how you made them at least being employable, as a matter of fact. Where do we have issues when it comes to employability? Where do we have issues? Because as it is right now, there are a lot of people who are out there looking for jobs. They are looking for jobs, but a lot of them are not. Some people will say, they will tell themselves they know they are employable, but somebody like you will tell them they are not employable based on the fact that you are an expert and they've gone to school, okay, they have the certificates. So why would you say they are not employable, as a matter of fact?
Okay, when I made a post some time ago that some people are not employable, and somebody attacked me and was like, we should blame the educational system. I said, and I respond to it because I know you are very employable. I went to the same school that such people, even myself, went to. So how come you are employable and they are not employable? See, at the end of the day, Nigeria made us to understand that our destiny is in our own hands when it comes to our survival. If you stop at, okay, I'm a university graduate, you are mistaken. Almost everybody is a graduate. Almost everybody have a certificate too, and even more than you have. So you have to do better. But you see, when we say poor and unemployable, I think it's more of they don't think outside the box. They are just confined to, okay, this is just what I am taught. Since I studied, let me say, biology, I should be taking care of plants or animals. Since if I studied botany, I should be taking care of flowers and so many other things, or horticulture, any other thing like that. So, what other thing do you have to offer? Now, let's start from how they even apply for jobs. Somebody approached me and said, oh, he has been applying for jobs. He didn't. I said, okay, send me the last 5 jobs you've applied for. Screenshot the email and send to me. And you know what this person just dumped the CV. Job application for HR. He dumped the CV, another one. So he submitted 20 job applications in a day. I said, nobody will ever call you. Because you're in the body of the email, you're not telling them, this is what I have, this is what I can do, this is the reason why I should open my CV. So I should have the reason why I should open your CV. I should look at your grammar and your tenses. So you're applying for executive assistants. You're saying executive assistants, I can overlook, maybe it's just a typical error. But when I come to the body, I'm looking at, I'm just saying executive assistants, I can work as executive assistants, I know there's a problem. So I know English is not our language. We keep saying that, but they are just basic things. We're not saying you should speak Queen's English. I'm sure that if Queen's English come and audit what we said, there might be some grammar mistakes we've made, but nobody's really concerned about that. Let them be able to understand you very well. Okay? Be able to communicate. Secondly, we always say learn skills, learn skills. It's not about just going to learn skills. Okay? Learn skills that are not obsolete. They are skills that are no longer useful. Okay? So begin to, before it's just learning computer, but today it's not just learning computer. They are telling you learn data analytics, learn Microsoft 360 and so many other things like that. Learn Excel, learn Power BI. So, and you need to put those things into practice. Learn Photoshop. There's somebody who does design for my organization. In a month, we pay him 20,000 naira for 10 designs. Every month, 10 designs. He's making cool money. I've recommended so many. So he has 4 people from me paying him 20,000 naira for every 10 designs every month. That's 80,000 naira. He doesn't do anything again. In fact, if we are going after that 10 designs, we're begging him. He says, don't worry, I'll just do one free for you. But we are not even begging him. So put yourself out there. Learn communication skills. You have to also brand yourself. I learned that at a very early age of branding myself. Put yourself out there. Use social media to brand yourself. Let people know what you are capable of doing. Of course, but if you are brand yourself, you'll be able to do those things. Okay? Engage. Go to free trainings where you cannot afford paid one. Go online. Go on. There are social medias where you can go and watch free videos. How to use this. How to use that. You should be improving yourself every day. Some people are just keen on getting certificate upon certificate. Certificate is good, but get the right certificate. Get the right association that you will benefit from, not just having certification. Okay? So, meet people, interact with people. Those are also soft skills. People don't know that it's important. How to negotiate, how to communicate. So, those are just little things, but we pay attention to, want to get one big certificate, want to get my PhD. It's good, but let us go to the basis. One of my mentors will say, first things first. So,
all right, first things first. Before you can be employable and, of course, contribute to the efficiency of an organization, there are basics that you need to know. What can you do? I've had people ask questions like, what can you do outside this? You know, went somewhere sometimes back and they were asking of so many things. This person said, okay, I'm a communicator, I'm a broadcaster, but I can do audio editing, I can do video editing and all of that. And people were having edge. So now that you were talking about it, that actually came to my mind too. But now, you just brought in the issue of curriculum vitae now, the CV. Mm-hmm. What is the first thing, okay, you look at when you pick up a CV? Because we're talking about employability. You need to be employable first before you can contribute to the efficiency of the organization, and where someone can think, I think this person should be able to contribute to the efficiency of this organization. First of all, the first point of contact in Assumption is the curriculum vitae.
Yes.
So what are the things you look out for? Well, I'm trying to pull out something from you. People are watching. People should learn. No, you're doing so much. I know what you're doing, but then at least you should know. People who are applying for jobs should know one or two things. So what exactly do you think people should do on their CV? The first thing.
Okay, so when I look at the CV, the first glance is I'm seeing different colors. I'm seeing the heading is red, the address is blue, the other place is yellow. It's a problem for me. It's a problem for me. That's when I'm doing my mass CV anyway. It's a problem for me already. If I am, let me be honest, if I'm in a good mood sometimes, I'll be like, please take this CV back. And this will reply applicants. I'll be like, please change the colors of the CV so I can even take a look at it. So we can just start from there, because the color can put, so many recruiters won't do that for you. Okay, so that's usually, so you don't have color white, just have black and white. It's simple, even though I say black and white. So then I will also see where people put pictures on CV. Pictures is not necessary. It's not necessary. You don't need that. Except where explicitly stated that we need your picture or photograph. Okay, but where it's not stated, you don't need picture. The reason why you don't need picture is because if you are submitting through what is called applicant tracking system, ATS, which most employers, we use in my organization, we don't get to see CVs most times, except in few cases. It filters if any CV that's with picture does not enter our portal. It doesn't. The ones that manage, maybe because picture is low quality, so it interprets as an error message. It mixes up with the words. It breaks the picture into words and other characters, other symbols. So the CV end up getting messed up. It ends up getting messed up. Even if you want to extract person's number to even call and say, okay, send me your CV through email, you can't do that any longer. So picture is not necessary. Then I always say use bullets friendly. Use friendly bullets. So you don't want to use one kind of bullet that is block or something. Just use a circle bullet or something. Just use that. Remove borders. So this is just like the first. Now you go to your tenses, your grammar. There are apps now that checks grammar. So after you finish your CV, if you want to do it by yourself, after you finish your CV, subject it to grammar test. There's an app that does grammar tests. Subject it to it. It will help you and correct it. If you want to make it more professional, it will help you. It will do it for you. What some people does is they use a particular app to do it. Once they just put their CV in the app, their school, their everything, it will generate their CV for them. It's good, but I expect that after it has done that, you should do your own edit. You see so many CV that has percentages. I was able to reduce attrition rate by 90%. I was able to reduce this by 20%. I was able to make production increase revenue by 30%. You now ask person, how did you arrive at this calculation? Because scientists have taught us that there must be a methodology. So show me how you arrive at the formula. I don't need to, just give the formula and the period, let me calculate. The person cannot give you. You see, I actually, no, I never did it.
In other words, you're trying to say some persons have CVs that they can't even defend.
They can't defend. Some of them,
and it is their CV.
And that's because, first of all, AI is very good, it's beautiful. AI can still destroy. AI can still destroy. So, even as HRs, I've seen HRs that use AI to send reply to applicants that they are not successful using AI and they couldn't edit it properly. So AI can make or mar you. So applicants use AI a lot. It's not a problem, but you should be able to edit it so that it will seem as if it's coming from you, because it might look as if you are too dependent on AI. Okay, so those percentages you don't need that, except you can really defend it. It's something that you really did. In a just where I work, I can bring all my data and show you that I did these percentages. If I put it on my CV, you will see it. It's traceable. It's calculatable. Okay, so some people cannot also defend their CV because they are not the one who wrote it. So you get to somebody, an expert, a HR expert or a CV expert who did their CV for them. After that, he or she did not walk them through the CV, so the person have painted them like a leopard. And when the person appears, you find that it's just a goat that has dots of a leopard. The person cannot defend the CV, so it becomes a problem. Then when you push for that, the next thing you hear is actually the CV. This is just a recent CV I did. I've not really studied it. Really, you need to study your CV, because when I ask interview questions, when people come to me and say, I have interview for this, how do I prepare? I don't have any questions for you. I don't have any questions to tell you that go and read about this. Know your CV and know the position. That's what I always tell them. Know your CV and know the position. So if you are going for interview for an AOP, for instance, go and read what AOP is. Go and read about successful people who have done that before, and then know what's in your CV. And that would be the guide. That's just what I have to say on that.
Well, that's it. Well, this is coming like this is an education. These are vital informations that a lot of people don't have. So you need to study your curriculum vitae first of all, because if anyone would want to consider you, according to Oga HR, first and foremost, as someone that can be an applicant or possibly getting into the organization, if you will get there to contribute to the efficiency of the organization, the first thing is your CV first before you can even be called for an interview. And those are the things he has highlighted. If you want to go for an interview, first of all, study your CV, study the position you are applying for. You should be able to defend your CV. If you're using artificial intelligence, you need to be very, very careful. At least do it such that it will suit you, because AI will do what is not exactly you. Well, time is not on our side, but then on a final note before you go, what would be your advice to organizations, all right, that are maybe, oh, there's one aspect that I've not asked you.
Okay.
The HR, how does the HR contribute to the marketing of an organization? Because that's when you talk about a strategic partner, the HR should also contribute to how money will come into the company. So just briefly, does the HR have anything to do with ensuring money comes into the organization?
Yes,
because
very well.
the organization, to be efficient, you need money to come in.
Yes, very well, very well. You see, HR does this, either you bring revenue or you reduce costs. Okay, so you can't just be a cost center. A friend of mine was telling me how organization, they wanted to do end of the year party, and so they brought a budget of 9 million to him. He was able to cut it down to 6 million. So he has saved them 3 million naira as a HR. So he was, what did he do different? He said he was able to negotiate with the vendors, really negotiate with them. Okay, that's why I say, see, these things are skills. Negotiation is a big skill. Okay, so as HR, you should be able to contribute to revenue. How? Either by negotiation, either by drafting processes to reduce. So if you have let's say 10 layers of operation to get your outputs, HR, you've looked at it and be like, no, we don't need 10 layers or 9 layers. We can reduce to 5. So when you reduce to 5, the other, you are reducing maybe the other manpower that would have been there, send them into other places. You've increased efficiency, you've increased turnaround time, you've increased production. That's revenue. That's productivity being increased. You've even reduced manpower being used. So if in a situation where you don't even need them, as a matter of fact, okay. So HR will tell you there's a solution I went to, and I saw that they had excess of 120 something staff. That was just last 2 months. They don't need them. They don't. It was very clear. But just on sympathy basis, what we now did was, there's a company that is starting up. We were able to absorb 30 back. And there's a company starting, we kept them on hold too. You know, they will be the first priority. But he has been paying excess salary. He couldn't just see, he knows he's making money, but he can't see where he's going to. That was costing him over extra 4 million or 5 million naira paying those people's salary. So, you see, HR, we reduce costs, we increase efficiency, and increase productivity and revenue vis-a-vis.
All right, well, that's Oga HR talking right there. We're talking about organizational efficiency, looking at human resource as a factor. And I have Ikenna Okafor right here, Oga HR. He is a human resource expert. As a matter of fact, you can hear from him and how revenue is being generated for organizations, how organizations can stay very efficient. We'll have this discussion, this conversation, we'll have it again.
Anytime.
But for now, time is not on us. I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, this is going to be the size of the discussion, and we will bring the weekend edition of Global Morning to an end right here. We believe your day has been set very well. It's led for you to run perfectly with the day right now, but don't forget that so many other programs are lined up for you on global television to make your weekend really worth it. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for staying with us. Have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. Bye bye for now.